today is our final farmer's market for 2024. We do not have a lot of product to take. I think we have 13 tubs of spaghetti squash. That is the very last partial tub of butternut squash. 14 tubs of white cauliflower. 1 tub of orange cauliflower and 1 tub of purple cauliflower. And 5 measly boxes of tomatoes, and half of those don't even look good enough to sell. I'm gonna have to go through those real quick. Joel loaded us up on maple syrup because people are stocking up for winter, knowing this will be our last market. And that's it. Well, relish. We always have our sweet and hot pepper relish up there. Yeah, some very slim pickings today, but I know the customers will be happy to see us one last time. If you happen to be new to my channel and have not seen us pack the trucks before, I'll give you a quick rundown on everything that we take with us to farmers markets. We have 3 bag racks, 2 10 by 15 foot tents, an extra 10 by 10 tent in case it's raining. Looks like 5 tables. These empty tubs are just for maybe propping things up off the ground like squash. We have wet wipes, paper towels, our farm banner, a tablecloth for every table, a folder of price cards. We call this our little goodie tote. There's a first aid kit, a little container for doing samples of relish, clothespins, spoons, tape, markers, scissors, credit card paper, business cards, pens, all that kind of good stuff. Quart containers, well, those are pints on top. Some quart containers in there for displaying our tomatoes and green beans and such. Price cards, more quart containers, rolled bags for the bag racks, sweet corn bags for the sweet corn bag racks for larger items like cauliflower. Man, that's a beast. Starting to get a little bit of purpling on top. That is a big one. The thing is like 9 or 10 inches across. We got our broom up there for cleaning up our mess at the end of the day. That's about everything. It's hard to believe that the end of our sales season is finally here. I've got the question before, why do I have such a big box truck, especially if this is all I'm taking? Yeah, you're right. I don't need this room for this small amount of produce today. But it would be a real pain in the butt to try to squeeze this all in a pickup, especially when you have maple syrup. Joel usually has salsa. Normally we have 10 different items in here, like green beans, 50 boxes of tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, zucchini, cucumbers, all that good stuff. And by the time you put in tents and tables and all the stuff I just showed you, you just can't fit it into a pickup truck. Plus, this stuff's always stored in here year-round. So this is where it belongs. And there's room and a place for everything. Otherwise, if I was using a smaller truck, like a pickup truck or something, I'd have to constantly be taking it in and out of the truck. And when you got 5 trucks you're doing this to every week, it gets a little time consuming. Plus, these 4-cylinder turbo diesel Isuzu box trucks get great fuel mileage. And there's the other 4 out there, already winterized. They had a good season. There she goes. The final farmers market for 2024, heading to Columbus. This is Emma driving the truck, and she is meeting Nate, who lives in Columbus. It stays dark out so late in the morning now. It'll get a little better after the time change. Final day of corn harvest. We just arrived to the field, getting ready to fire up this combine. We only got about 2 truckloads left, and corn harvest 2024 will be finished. We still have about 50-60 acres of soybeans to finish up. This is our northern field. It's about 10-15 miles away from our farm, and we call this our cursed field. Every time we start working up here, something breaks down. We've had a broken radiator, a popped tire, a broken chain. So this is like our 3rd attempt at finishing this field. Just part of farming. There's always something breaking down. Fortunately, we were able to get everything fixed, and today we are going to finish. So let's hop in a combine and take a little ride. I just watched a video. Do you know who Larson Farms is?
I've heard of them.
They replaced an engine in the field. Oh. It blew up and there was pieces and chunks of the motor blown out. Oh. They pulled it and put the new one in.
Wow, that's incredible.
Man, what a gorgeous day.
Yeah,
we have had spectacular weather for this harvest season. I mean, we only got rained out a couple times.
Just the hurricane and I think that was it.
Milton? Helene or Milton?
Oh, wait.
Hilton. Did I say Hilton? Helene?
Helene.
Melene or Hilton?
Hilton,
yeah.
Remnants of
the second one.
No, the first one.
That was
Helene.
Yeah, yeah.
Milton or Hilton. No,
yeah, Milton.
That one.
All right.
Just stay south in Florida. Some more dust are flying. Always goes out so slow the first.
All the hydraulic fluid's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, you see some corn down.
Oh yeah.
That's why I've been.
Yeah, we really wanted to get this field done last week, but you know, with that broken radiator, it kind of forced us to stay close to the home farm with only 1 truck. So I can see some down corn. This needed harvested about a week ago, if not 10 days ago. Well, it might have been a little wet 10 days ago.
Yeah.
At least last week.
Yeah, 15%. Right on the money.
Nice. Let's see if I can get down pulled out if needed. We're having some problems on this left side. Plugging up. There we go.
Don't know what it is yet. I've looked at it. It's slightly offset a little bit, but not enough to where you think it would clog up like that.
Our final partial pass of corn harvest happening right now. Hard to believe it's over already. You probably don't feel that way though. How many hours have you been sitting in that seat?
It's starting to stink in here. It's like a trash heap.
You've probably been sitting in here for over 150 hours, haven't you?
Yep.
So, I'm a backpacker. They call backpackers through hikers. The ones that do the long trails, they call them hiker trash. Joel's combine trash. Harvest trash, there we go. There it is. Just about done. Final 50 feet. Boom, there it is.
Crack open the champagne.
All right. Getting ready to dump our final load. We'll head back to the farm and get it in the bin. All righty, see you back at the farm.
getting her cleaned out extra good. That's it, folks. Now he's heading home to get switched over for our final 60 acres of soybeans. I'm taking the truck home and get it in the bin. We're gonna race. Who's gonna win? Don't want to get behind him on the road or I'll never get home. Made it back to the farm. Jake's already got his truck unloaded. Oh, no he doesn't. He's still backed up to it. Must have had a second truck filled up from last night. Looks like a personal truck. Getting the final little bit of corn cleaned out of the truck. Just about full. Final few bushels going in the bin. That's it. Corn harvest has officially ended. All right, I think I'm gonna get this disc unhooked and hook up our chisel plow and try to get some of my vegetable ground chiseled up and ready for winter. Got the grease gun out of the combine. Giving those 3 trucks a little break. I only got a few things to grease on this. And she should be field ready. Okay, this is what a new one looks like. And you can put it up next to one of the old ones and line up the holes. And by doing that, I can see that, yeah, it's worn a little bit, but the full length is almost all still there. It's mainly just the width is worn away a little bit. So for the sake of time, I'm just gonna use it as is. I think it's fine for 5 or 6 acres. That's all I'm gonna do today. If I was gonna be doing days and days of chisel plowing, I would probably change about 3 or 4 of them out. Definitely dry out there. A little bit of moisture left, but not too much. This is perfect for chisel plowing. When it gets too wet, it pulls hard because the dirt's so heavy. If it's too dry, it'd be like chisel plowing concrete. This is just right. You can see the 3 tomato rows off to the left there. We have yet to lift the plastic. Same with the 6 rows of peppers over there to the right. We're just gonna chisel around them right now. And you can see there's not much plastic left out there. This is where all the biodegradable plastic was. This is actually where the cantaloupes were, right here. So I'm gonna do this section here, then the section on the left of the tomato plastic, and then a couple sections in the back half of the field where some of the later plantings were. I'll be glad to get this all done before I do a little bit of traveling, before the rains cut loose and it gets all sloppy and smeary out here, and then it's almost impossible to do. You kind of miss your weather window. So very important to get this job done in late October, early November at the latest. I'm going to give you another close look behind me and in front of me, and you'll notice some of the bits of biodegradable plastic laying around. That will all be gone by next spring before I lay plastic. So there's not a whole lot out there. You can see little bits and pieces. You can also see that I'm dragging a strip right now. But for the most part, it's already gone. Some of it's getting buried, but that will all finish degrading over winter. Going this direction, you might be able to see the pieces of plastic out there a little bit better. I mean, I couldn't be happier with how this is working up though. This is excellent. You may have noticed that the little discs in the front, the cutting discs, are rolling. I have them in the up position. I don't use those. It's only rolling because it's touching the ground. Because I'm sinking the chisel plow down pretty deep right now. Actually, as deep as it will go. Probably getting about 8 or 10 inches deep. There's a chunk of dirt over there stuck in between the blades. It doesn't matter, it'll fall out. I'm not using those. Now, if I was doing some sweet corn ground, it would help chop up the stalks a little bit better. And I would sink that thing into the ground a little bit. I really wish I had this tomato plastic up already so I could just finish this whole field. I hate leaving a little strip out there like that. Pulling a little bit hard right here. You can probably hear the tractor bogging down just a little. But once we get that plastic lifted, I'll come back out here and it looks like it'll only be like 3 swipes. This is the area that had a little strip of sweet corn, and then a drive trail next to it, and then our butternut, spaghetti squash, and watermelon. I don't think I need this section for plastic next year, but I figure since I'm out here, I might as well go ahead and chisel it up just in case we decide to increase our acreage or amount of rows of a certain crop. We'll have the field chisel plowed and ready for plastic. And then if I don't use it for laying plastic on raised beds, I'll just cultivate it, field cultivate it, and plant sweet corn or green peas there instead. So there's what's left of our cauliflower and broccoli crop. It's all harvested and ready to be bush hogged down. Kind of satisfying working up dirt like this. But I'm glad we don't have to do it on the rest of our acres. Just where we lay plastic. Every once in a while I like to stop and look back there just to make sure all the teeth are still there. I have had one break off before. They all look good. Making our second to last pass in this section of the field, and I see Joel out there. I don't know if you can see him through the camera or not. He came by to find a big juicy tomato for lunch. It's probably harder than he thought. They're all toast from the couple frosts we've had already. But I told him to go ahead and grab me one too, and a green one, so I can make fried green tomatoes for lunch. You might be able to see him out there a little bit better now. He has his two little kids with him, 3 and 1. Oh, looks like they're looking at some of the broccoli shoots too. I got a ton of rocks up here in this section. Looks about like Veggie Boys or Brian's Farm rocks. But it still chisel plows up pretty nice. Let's go see what Joel and his boys are doing. My gosh, a lot of dew out here. I'm gonna get soaked walking through here. You can see all of this cauliflower has been harvested. Nothing left out here. Find anything good? Man, there are some nice shoots out here.
A lot of nice ones.
Yeah.
Beauties here.
Been nice to get them picked yesterday before the market.
Yeah.
What happened to your hair, Jeremiah? Your hair's all gone. There's Jax, Jeremiah, the future of Wishwell Farms.
I have a little bit.
You still have a little bit of hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mama cut it because it's so long.
Cut it so long.
The darn train ruins everything every time.
All the time. Jack's just mesmerized watching me drive past.
Oh, Jax, what you doing over there? You gonna eat that tomato? You can see the tomatoes are dead now. They've been frosted. There's still some halfway
Not
decent.
bad down there. I mean, there's still a lot of just damage.
Yeah.
They're just blemished and
You
stuff.
can see they all got ugly spots on them.
Some not very yummy.
Some are pretty yummy.
Jeremiah loves tomatoes.
Really?
He tried one of these, didn't.
Oh, you like the grape tomatoes better, don't
Yeah,
you?
he loves them.
Mm.
You want some grape tomatoes?
Those taste like candy.
Yeah, we got some freeze dried. I can give you. That's a little wet.
Are you gonna watch me chisel plow?
Oh boy.
Oh, there's a nice one. Getting some purple on it. All right, guys, I'll see you later. I'm gonna get back in the tractor. Bye, Jax. Bye, Jeremiah. He's waving. Oh, he's gotta throw some dirt at me. Oh. They love their tractors. Since I don't really have any kids interested in taking over the farm, it's probably gonna be those two. That will be the future of Wishwell Farms, maybe Jake as well. It's pretty dry and powdery for the most part right here. But back a little ways there, you know, it's really chunky and wet, more clay. And this is why you want to chisel plow in the fall and not the spring. When you do your chisel plowing in the fall, all those big chunks will freeze and thaw many, many times. And then it all breaks up and gets powdery and better conditions for laying plastic when I take the disc over it in the spring. If I was to do this in the spring, those big chunks of dirt would never break down and I would never be able to lay plastic in time in early May. Down here you can really see the big muddy chunks I'm talking about. It always lays kind of wet right here. Can you imagine trying to lay plastic in the spring, bringing stuff up like that? That should all break up really nice after a winter of freezing and thawing. It's just one really bad spot right there where Joel and his kids are. Got me some lunch. Truck has just arrived home from Worthington. I'm gonna help her get unloaded and then head back out to the field to do some more chisel plowing. There's what she brought home. 5 itty bitty cauliflower and 2 bad spaghetti squash. We have an empty truck. And she said we sold a bunch of maple syrup. Glad Joel loaded that up. We only have one little problem. You see I have the cab tipped up right now. Emma called me about 10 or 15 miles from home and said she heard a loud bang and then a loud hissing noise. It was like, oh no. And, you know, at first she thought it was a tire. So she got out and checked the tires. The tires were all good. It only did it when she accelerated, not when she's even idling. So I had her get out and, you know, inspect everything, check all the gauges. Everything was good. So I called my mechanic while she sat there and waited to hear back from me. My mechanic said it sounds like a intercooler boot. Those of you who know anything about diesels know exactly what I'm talking about. I think I'm saying that correctly. Intercooler boot. And I told her to go ahead and nurse it home, drive it home slowly. If you can't get up to full speed on the highway, find back roads to get home. She was able to get back on the highway and still go 50 miles an hour, no problem. It was a little bit sluggish. She said it was blowing black smoke out going up the hill, you know, a couple miles from home. That worried me. I was like, black smoke, that doesn't sound right. So I called my mechanic again and he said, yes, that is a classic sign of an intercooler boot because there's not enough air being built up in the turbo or something and it's making the fuel burn richer. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, but he said that is almost a surefire sign that it is an intercooler boot. Having that black smoke, the hissing noise, and lack of power. So hopefully I have one from my old engine that I pulled out of this truck last year. This is so weird. I'm like cursed on the final market of every year. Last year is when that motor blew up and the front wheel caught on fire from the brakes locking up when I was towing my wife home. That was on the very last market of 2023. And now, on the very last market of 2024, another problem. I guess it's best that it happens this time of year than in August when we're loaded down with sweet corn, tomatoes, and beans and all that good stuff. All right, I got one little section to chisel plow out here where it's already been disked up. I couldn't get it the disc as deep as I'd liked, so I'm gonna have to run the chisel plow over it. And then on the other side of that little tree line there in the creek, I have a section about twice that size. So that's gonna be 8 rows of plastic, and then I'll have to do about 16 rows worth of plastic right over there. And then chisel plowing will be done for 2024. Man, that's some pretty soil. Working up real nice today. This is so crumbly over here, you could go out and lay plastic today if you wanted to. This is very satisfying. All right, making our final pass of chisel plowing for 2024. And these fields will be ready for 2025. All right, got the old chisel plow unhooked. I was planning on leaving it hooked up because I have those 3 rows of tomatoes yet to chisel, but I have to lift the plastic first. So I'll get to that sometime next week, and then I'll have to hook it back up. The reason I unhooked it is because Joel thinks he's gonna need it for one of our soybean fields that is across a muddy creek. There's not very much gravel in there. It's on a rented field, just down the road like a 1/4 mile, and he thinks he might get stuck using the other tractor that is hooked up to the bush hog that doesn't have 4-wheel drive. So grain truck's not a good idea for that field because of that muddy creek. So this tractor will be available for him to pull those wagons back here to the farm, and then I'll just hook it back up next week, get that chisel plowing done on the tomato patch. Another successful day of farming in the books. And this is where we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you all again real soon down the farm.